Weston. I love talking about the Rangers, and I'm here to recap Game 13 of the regular season. Rangers lose to the Boston Bruins 1-0. We get shut out, and that sucks. And before I get into the game, I want to say something really quickly. So when you're in a fight with a friend of yours, or most of the time, a significant other, wife, girlfriend, fiance, what have you, and in the heat of an argument, you say something you don't really mean, and then afterwards you're like, that was really stupid of me. Well, that happened to me the other night when recapping a hockey game. I said we looked terrible in the game the other evening, and after the game, after I cooled off, I went back, I watched condensed game, I watched recapping, or not recaps, but replays of it, the short condensed ones, and I realized we did not play bad. We played really good. I was just really bitter and upset that we lost in overtime in a very winnable game, and I wanted to get that out of the way, because I was just very upset and angry, and so I made sure not to get that way about tonight's game and tried to stay very calm, cool, and collected the entire time as best I could, so I could actually give an accurate depiction of tonight's game. Spoiler alert, we lost the game, we looked fantastic. On to said game. Now before I even get into it, I do want to say, Panarin was out with a lower body injury day-to-day, hopefully he's back Tuesday for the Devils. And Colin Blackwell was back, so that was really nice. First period, 19:04 left in the period. Puck over the glass for Boston. Rangers go on the power play. We did nothing with it. Our power play tonight was awful. I believe we were 0 for 6 or 0 for 7, something along those lines. It was pathetic. A little bit later on, 14:18 left in the period. 2-on-1. Parise Bergeron and Brad Marchand going into the zone, and Shesterkin, great glove save on Brad Marchand. Story of tonight. Shesterkin looked incredible, and we let him down on offense, and there's no other way around it. A little bit later on, Kapokako for tripping. Boston goes on the power play. Our penalty kill, complete opposite of our power play. Our penalty kill is top-notch, fantastic, classy. It's classy. It's incredible. It is top class. I can't say enough about our penalty kill. It looks fantastic. I believe we killed off 5 Boston penalties tonight. I want to get that number right. So let me very quickly, find out the penalties, and I'll get back to that actually in a few minutes. So a little bit later on in that period, another fantastic save by Shesterkin, just getting his pads there. Shesterkin, I can't say enough. Shesterkin looked fantastic tonight. Unbelievable. He was incredible. And we couldn't give him one goal to at least make it an overtime loss. No, we couldn't do it. A little bit later, 2:59 left in the period. Interference on Boston. Rangers get their second power play of the night. That would be a theme. We didn't do anything on it. That would also be a theme. On to the second period, which... Timeout. Second period. Holy crap. What was that second period? Absolute madness, bananas, chaos in the second period for both teams. So, I'm going to take a breath and start getting into the period. So, 17:18 left in the period. Slashing on Boston. Rangers get on the power play. A few minutes later, as soon as our power play is done, Lemieux, for boarding, Boston gets a power play. We kill it off. A couple of really incredible saves by Igor Shesterkin again on that penalty kill for us. He was fantastic tonight. 13:26 left in the period. Trouba for, I believe it was boarding or roughing. I can't remember which, but one or the other. Again, he gets penalized. That's a penalty. End of the boards. I put our penalty kill looks great. That was very accurate. 11:17 left in the period. This was incredible. Win the face-off. It's like right in front of Shesterkin. We lose possession. We cough it up. And Shesterkin makes a fantastic save again. Fantastic all evening. A little bit later on, 10:33 left in the period. And Boston gets this awful, awful goal. It was past it. Shesterkin was blocking all but this much of the goal crease, and they fit it in, and it sucked. And I was kind of dying a little on the inside because it was just it was simultaneously such a pretty goal and it was rough. Immediately after puck drop, I had to adjust myself to get ready for this. Immediately after puck drop, after that face-off in the middle, Lemieux goes at it with a Boston Bruin. Now, this wasn't a skirmish. This was a fight. This was a full-on beat the ever-loving crap out of each other fight, and they did. Lemieux, I didn't count. He had to have gotten at least 7 or 8 quick right hooks in. Like, when he went going at it with the right hook, I didn't realize how fast Lemieux can right hook people. But it was just bang, 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 bang. Like, that fight was over before it started. Lemieux just beat the ever-loving crap out of the guy. It was kind of It was bananas. Bonkers. I can speak English, I swear to God. So that happened. A little bit later on, there's not fighting, but there's skirmishes. The entire, second half of the second period was just marred by just fighting and skirmishes. There's some skirmishes going on. 9:19, Rangers go on another power play. I believe it was roughing or something. I don't remember. 4:46 left in the period. Buchnevich and company behind the net. Him and a Boston Bruin. They get friendly. Buchnevich gets into a fight. Sadly, Buchnevich lost his fight, but still, another fight happens. It was bananas. It was crazy. A little bit later on, 2:05 left in the period. Shesterkin made another really nice save. And again, I can't give Shesterkin, the man on the wall back there, I can't give him enough credit. He was fantastic tonight. I don't know what we couldn't have asked more from him. He was 29 of 30. What do you want him to go score some goals while he's out there? He was fantastic. A little bit later on, there was just this gorgeous save. Madness in front of the goal, and Shesterkin is just not only... And the Boston Bruins, they're fantastic. And I would also like to say this. We held the Boston Bruins in 2 games during the regulation to 3 goals. 3! And we lost both of them. It sucks. So Shesterkin made a great save there to end the period, pretty much. And the second period ends with 13 penalties. There were 13 penalties. It was insane. I want to read them all, right? I'm going to just go top to bottom real quick. Let's do this. In the second period, Charlie Coyle slashing against Julien Gauthier. Then Brendan Lemieux boarding against... I'm not going to say Boston names. I'm sorry. I'm bad at it. Brendan Lemieux for boarding. Jacob Trouba for roughing against Charlie McAvoy. That was served by Blackwell. And then, oh yes, I forgot the Trouba and McAvoy skirmish that happened. How could I forget that was a fight early in the period? My bad. So they both got penalties for that. A little bit later on, Brendan Lemieux got a penalty for fighting Trent Frederick. Both of them got penalties. Excuse me. So obviously that's how that works. A little bit later on, Brett Howden for slashing against Marchand. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it, so I'm not going to. Boarding against Lebor Hilak. And then Brad Marchand cross-check against Brett Howden. Pavel Buchnevich for fighting. The Boston Bruin for fighting. And that Bruin got... It says a misconduct. I don't know what it was, because I don't think it was a misconduct, because he played later on. But a 13 penalty second period for the two teams. And I will say this. I think it's become sort of dormant for the past few years. Rivalry's back. The rivalry between Boston and the Rangers has been renewed. And it's not even a question. There were 3 real fights. There were a lot of skirmishes. This was a super physical, in-your-face, punch-you-in-the-nose game. And it was fantastic. I don't have enough good to say about it. This game, I know we lost. I know we got shut out. This game was a joy to watch. I think everyone would say... I know I would say that. I enjoyed this game a lot. I know we got shut out. I know it wasn't super interesting in that department. But my God, this was a super physical, hard-nosed, old-fashioned hockey game. And it was, tip your cap, fantastic. Third period, early on, Jacob Trouba for holding on Boston. Boston goes on the power play. We killed it. And I wrote down our penalty kill is fantastic. Our power play is pathetic. A little bit later on, 15:29 left. Boston for tripping. Rangers go on another power play. We don't do anything with it. Story of the evening for the Rangers. A little bit later on, Ryan Lindgren. I know I was harsh with him earlier in the season when he threw a goal in our net. That's beside the point. I don't understand how he came back into the game after just freaking getting his head shammed onto the boards. But I think he had 4 or 5 cuts on his eye and around there. Came back, played some more. Absolute warrior Ryan Lindgren. He has a 5-game, no slander. He can do anything in the next 5 games. I'm not talking any kind of crap about it because he looked fantastic tonight. And he came back from that. So about a minute and a half left. Rangers finally start to establish possession. So Shesterkin can leave. And then a minute or 2 left. Boston, puck over the glass. Rangers get one more chance to make something happen. On the power play, it's 6 on 4, and the entire last minute was pretty much spent in between skate and board. It was kind of lackluster. I was hoping for some shots. Nothing really happened. And that was it. That was it for the game. Halak for the Bruins. Fantastic game for him. He was great. Shesterkin might have been better in a way. Because if I'm not mistaken, I believe Shesterkin had... I know he had 30. How many did Halak have? I want to just get this right and not say anything incorrect. Rangers only had 21 shots on goal. That sucks. So Shesterkin had 8 more saves than him and took the loss. That is heartbreaking. Now Halak, again, he looked great. I'm not going to say he didn't. He looked very good. But Shesterkin just had an unbelievable game tonight. And it's a real shame that he lost. It's a real shame that he doesn't get anything for this other than the save percentage going up and the goals against going down. 29 of 30 for a .967 save and 1 goal. He was fantastic. And there's nothing you can say other than that. Like, Shesterkin deserves all the praise. He was unbelievable. And it's a shame that he has to take the loss. Adam Fox had 26-24 tonight on ice. Adam Fox... People are saying it, and I'm starting to agree with it. And at this point, I feel like it's almost undebatable. Adam Fox is the best defenseman we've had since Brian Leetch, and it's not particularly close at this point. Adam Fox is playing out of his mind. He looks fantastic. He's on the ice constantly. He's almost out there half the time. Adam Fox is just a stud defenseman. We have a great franchise player here in Fox, and I'm ecstatic about that. Again, we didn't win tonight, and I understand that. But now in back-to-back games, we took, debatably, you might say, I think it's, the Maple Leafs or the Lightning. I understand that. We took, at very worst, the 3rd best team in hockey to the brink in back-to-back games. One of them, they couldn't beat us in regulation. And in the other one, they could only muster 1 goal. And that, I know we only get 1 point out of the 4 possible. So I understand that, and then that is not great. Especially when you were trying to keep the hope alive of maybe a playoff berth this year for the Rangers. I understand that. But looking back now, out of a state of anger, out of a state of irritation, and just straight up being upset about the game, you gotta be proud of the way that this team fought. You gotta be proud of how Georgiev fought in his game, how Shesterkin just dazzled tonight, again, 29 of 30. How physical we were. And at the end of the day, again, it sucks that we lost. I understand that. And I'm not saying, it's a participant. I'm not saying that. But you can't look at this and say we played terrible. You look at these last 3 games. We've looked really good at all 3 of them. And we've lost all of them. But I don't look at the last 3 games as failures. I look at them as learning experiences for these young players. And man, we held the Boston Bruins. Incredible team. Maybe the best team in hockey right now. Maybe a team that could go on to win the Stanley Cup this year. 3 regulation goals in 2 games. 120 minutes. They scored 3 goals in regulation. I can't get mad about this. Again, we looked good tonight. And I will say this. I think this is very important to say, and I think everyone can admit it now. Everyone wanted to hold off, and I understood that last year. With Shesterkin saying it was a 12-game rookie stint. And everyone wanted to hold off. I understand that. Debate's over. Shesterkin, again, no one will ever replace Henrik Lundqvist for this franchise, what he did for us for the better part of a decade and a half. I understand that. And so I'm not saying as a replacement, but I am saying as a person to now take the torch from him. Igor Shesterkin's the guy. And it's no longer a question in my mind. Bad start to the year. I agree. Very bad start. Last 6 games was or excuse me, not the last 6 games, but the last few games. 23 of 25, 25 of 26, 31 of 33, 28 of 30, 29 of 30. I feel confident moving forward now, knowing that Igor Shesterkin is going to be our backstop. I'm ecstatic about it. Again, he held the Boston Bruins, fantastic team, and they had a lot of shots. I don't know the exact numbers. I will actually really quickly find it for how much the perfection line had tonight in Bergeron, Pastrnak. Pastrnak really didn't have any shots. That's kind of shocking. Marchand had 2, and Bergeron had 6 shots on goal. So we held their top line on 8 shots from their top line of Pastrnak, Bergeron, and Marchand to 8 for 8. We have our next guy going forward, and that is exciting. So, sucks that we lost. Hard loss to take, but we looked good, and you got to take the positives. So that is it for tonight. That's all I have. I will be back Tuesday for the Devils game. Sadly, again, the weekend game got postponed just like last week, so no game Saturday or Sunday or Monday, and now I just have to wait till Tuesday before I have hockey again. And that sucks. So thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day, and go Rangers.